Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy reporting live from the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by...
Hello, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things podcast. We are so excited, as always, to be here with you today. How's it going, Stacy?
It's going pretty good. I've just been trying to keep busy, kind of feeling a little bit of a cold coming on and trying my darndest to, fight it off. Rather be sick now than sick in 3 weeks. I want to thank you for the amazing birthday surprise package. Lots and lots of goodies from you from a lot of different cool companies, but that Max Pop definitely be still my heart. And just been kind of resting and pushing the fluids, but I'm sure you read about that fantastic story that dropped about Joseph Quinn being the tour guide to that young German girl who got to visit the Fantastic Four set. So little things like that, just pulling on the heartstrings. But, we're on the verge of spooky season, my favorite, and the con coming up. But just been kind of vibing and looking forward to that. What's been going on with you?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. I joked that I was contagious last week through the screen.
She did.
So
Yep.
It's my fault. We don't record this together. I think most of you know that, but I'm feeling a little bit better. I was not feeling great this week, but just like you said, better now than later.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be nice and healthy for the con in a few weeks.
Yep.
And the box, I had so many of those things accumulated over the past few months, and I'm terrible about going to the post office and sending things. So I'm glad you liked it. It was fun to finally get some of that stuff in the mail for you.
You're the best.
And I was finally able to send you your copy of the A Quiet Place Day 1 poster that we got from one of our listeners, Jillian. So she was amazing enough to send us 2 copies of that poster. So I got them, and then I sent the poster to Stacy finally.
Huge shout out to her. I just framed it. I'm going to have to reframe it because don't ever try to frame anything, guys, when you kind of got a fever. It was really off center. And I was like, we got to fix that. But I thought that was just incredibly sweet of them to do, because ever since they started showing posters for this movie way back in April, May of, this year, I was like, I want me one of those. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's amazing. So now you've got your A Quiet Place poster, you've got your Gladiator poster.
Yep.
You're set. You just need your Fantastic Four poster.
Give it time, people. Give it time.
And I'm super excited because this week I am going to the New York Film Festival.
That's right. Yeah.
So I will be going on Wednesday to see Pavements, which is the film that's premiering at the festival that Joe Keery is in. He plays the frontman of, apparently he plays himself at the beginning of the movie as an actor who is going to be playing the frontman of Pavement in a fake documentary movie, biopic that they're making about the band in the movie. So
Jesus.
It sounds really entertaining. And just the couple little clips that we've seen, Joe looks really hilarious as he's playing this musician. So I think it's also cool that Joe is a musician and he's playing a musician in this film.
Yeah.
So I think that was a neat role, and I'm excited to see the movie. So Juan and I are going to go see that. So I'm super excited to hang out with him when I'm in New York as well.
Hell
so
yeah.
Shout out Juan, one of our friends and listeners. And yeah, so that'll be fun. And I have a concert next weekend. So lots of fun stuff going on this week. And then, like you said, just getting excited for the convention.
I know.
Speaking of the convention, we are super excited. And a few months ago, we had Alexis on our show. And Alexis is one of the co-owners of the company called Epic Cons, which is the company that is putting on this convention, the Upside Down, in Jackson, Georgia, which is outside of Atlanta. The convention is October 19th and 20th. So as we're recording, we only have about 19 days left.
I'm going to puke.
Yeah. I can't believe October is finally starting on Tuesday. I feel like we've been talking about October for months. I mean, since January, we've been
Basically.
excited
Yeah.
for October for sure. So it's finally starting. And Alexis was amazing enough to agree to come back on our show.
Yep.
So let's get into that interview. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's so cool to follow up with you. I can't believe, I think it was in May that we talked to you previous. I feel like that time has just flown by. I don't know where those 5 months or whatever went. So, how has everything been with you?
Really good. We've had 2 events since then. So we've been busy. And then now everything is just like 100% geared towards the Upside Down event. So can't believe we're almost here. I'm like 3 weeks from now, it's going to be Sunday at the convention. So we will have already spent day 1 with so many of the wonderful cast. It's crazy. We're so excited.
Yeah, we are obviously super excited as well. But let you talk about your other events that you've had, because like you said, you've had 2 other events. So give us some of the highlights of those events.
So the June one was Vampire Diaries. It was in Covington. So we learned we're never doing another event in Georgia in summer.
Okay.
So that's not happening ever again. But it was actually like really good. We had some guests join us for the first time. Obviously, Nina Dobrev, I don't know if you guys saw, she had her injury and a couple weeks prior had to cancel. So she's coming back in December. We're very thankful. Probably the coolest things that we did for that event, we did a Brothers Bond bourbon tasting at the Mystic Grill, which so iconic. That was so cool. And then we did a girls' night out with Kat Graham, and that was so fun. We literally closed down the place that we hosted it at. Everybody there had so much fun. She spent so much time. She sang karaoke with everybody, was dancing, did Q&A, took selfies with every single person there. Like, Kat is just probably one of the most pure, best humans on this planet. And so, like, that was definitely like a standout moment for so many of the attendees was that. But like, our special events is always like our favorite thing. So,
Yeah, that's so amazing. I ordered the Brothers Bond bourbon once and have a bottle signed by Ian that I had ordered. So that's so cool that you guys did that tasting at the grill. Like, that's crazy.
I know. I'm like, it's just so iconic to bring them there and to be able to do that. Like,
yeah,
so cool.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then September was our event. So like 2 weeks ago now, we were in Chicago and did our first responder event. And that was the first responder convention that's taken place in the States. And it was so cool. We had The Rookie, the One Chicago Universe, Grey's Anatomy, Station 19, some FBI people, some Suits people. It was kind of like, we had a bunch of really fun people mixed in that we've been wanting to work with, that we were able to kind of like fit into that theme. And so we're like, we're inviting everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, and then 911 Lone Star, because Ronan is like the coolest person ever. And so we'll always find a way to fit him. So that was really fun. And Danielle from Station 19, she ended up staying so late Sunday night signing autographs. She connected with her fans like something I've never seen. And it was so cool. And I think we know now, like, going forward, like, when she comes back, that we need to expect like a lot more time for her for autographs. But it was so cool getting to see that, because she has such like a wonderful, loyal fan base. And so we got to see kind of how that played into her being at the convention.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Was that her first convention or just her first with you guys?
Her first in the US.
Okay.
She's done conventions overseas. I think just mainly Paris. She might have done one in like Italy, but Paris has a company that does first responder cons. And their owner actually came like to Chicago, and we got to hang out before the event, went to lunch. It was really nice and got to talk. And we did like a really silly TikTok because I think one thing we've seen is fan bases a lot of the times try to like pit convention companies against each other, which is crazy because like
you're all doing the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
and like what's the point? Especially somebody literally at another continent.
Yeah.
But she had reached out and was like, I'm actually gonna be in Chicago. Would you want to meet up and chat? And so like we got to have lunch before, and then she came to the event like when we were setting up so that way she could like say hi and meet the rest of like the Epic team. And so we did a TikTok, and I'm not like a TikToker, but Imani was like, it'd be really funny to do the one like, this is my house or whatever. And so we did that, and fans thought it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was good to show too, like, you know, we can support each other.
Yeah.
And still do the same thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know, that was full, like, kind of like a back end thing that happened that convention weekend.
Yeah. To make that connection. What was their company?
Dream It.
Okay.
Cool.
Dream It Conventions. Cool. Yeah. And just like you said, like building each other up and supporting each other and making those connections. It doesn't all have to be about competition. Yeah. That's awesome. You also had something really cool that I saw at your Chicago convention where you raffled the banners. And
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that? Because that looked amazing.
Yeah. So the one that we did in Chicago, it was set up different how we're going to do Stranger Things, because obviously with Stranger Things, it's like a lot smaller. So this one, every actor had their own like autograph table, kind of like you'd see it like a traditional like Comic-Con. And so they had the banners with their headshots on it, their name, and then EpicCon Chicago too. And Madison McLaughlin, that she's came to a few of our events now, and we haven't officially announced, but I'll say it here first. She's going to be coming in October, and she's going to be hosting some panels.
Well, that's awesome.
Oh, cool.
So she's a Stranger Things fan as well. So she's very excited to get to come and host there. But she has a not-for-profit. She's a family member that has a very rare medical condition. And so the not-for-profit, it provides money to help those who have these rare conditions receive treatment and kind of cover those expenses. So we were like, you know, previous events where we've had the banners, so like March, we didn't have them signed. And so I'm pretty sure I still have all those in my garage. And the ones even from our very first event in August of 22, I know those are still in my garage. And so it's like, you know, it's just a waste because like we buy these, they're there, and then they either just get put in storage or they get thrown away.
Yeah.
So this time we're like, why don't we do it as like a charity event? And why don't we reach out, see if everybody is good with signing their banners?
Yeah.
And we can do a raffle during the event and raffle these off, and all the money goes to MacPack, which is Madison's charity. And so we did it, and we raised over $9,000, which was
That's awesome.
So cool. So
Yeah.
we're hoping going forward with our like bigger events that we can keep doing that and just like pick a different charity each time. And if there's something that like one of the talent coming is really passionate about, or if they have their own charity, just saying, okay, the proceeds are going to this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's awesome. So, Alexis, what would you say you're looking forward to the most for the Upside Down convention?
everything. No, now that the schedule's done, I'm so excited about so much of it. The ice cream party, though, I think is going to be so cool, especially since it's going to be Joe and Maya. I think that the people that get the tickets to that are going to have the best time.
Yeah.
And they're going to get a really cool, like, take-home souvenir from it. So,
Ooh,
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm excited. We got to see what it looks like. And so I think people are really going to like it. It's something simple, but it'll be a really good memento from the weekend or from the night.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Stacey loves merch.
I
She's
do.
going to be excited for anything new for her
All about that.
collection.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many tickets are you selling for that event? Do you know?
I think we're doing 40.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah.
Are Joe and Maya going to be physically scooping the ice cream themselves?
I doubt it, only because it always just takes one person, and I can see like somebody having like a complaint to the health department.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put anybody like in that situation. So I think we'll just leave that to the workers.
Would you
Yeah,
Just because I
imagine?
don't want to open up that can of worms. It would be so cool though.
Yeah, that would be so funny.
There was once a post about how the Board of Health would have shut down Scoops Ahoy because they were showing like how many things were like against regulations. Looking back on it, and I'm like, oh yeah.
It was also the 80s though, so I
Yeah.
don't know that like
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
strict.
And I feel like that would be a lot of work for the two
Oh
of
my
them
God,
too.
imagine.
yeah. Your 1 hour ice cream party is everybody's gonna watch Joe and Maya scoop ice cream.
That's it. Yep.
Manual
No
labor.
Q&A, just watching them.
Just that. That's amazing.
What has the planning process been since we last talked? Have there been any highlights?
So I think the coolest thing was like, so when we were talking with Maya and she wanted to do the ice cream thing, she's like, I want to do the ice cream thing with Joe. Like that was the coolest
that.
because I love this so much because like an ice cream event with Joe, like that's completely out of this world. But having it with both of them together just elevates it that much more. So I thought that was really cool that she was like, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited. I think that that just adds like more to that event for everybody.
Yeah. We were trying to like guess what it was going to be. And I was like, well, now that Maya's doing it too, it's for sure
It's
ice
gotta be.
cream.
Yeah.
There's no question.
You know, I'm like, we're waiting because we want to get the meet and greets announced first.
Mhm.
Our plan was to get everything announced like on Friday. That obviously like didn't happen because we're still waiting on a few people. But
Yeah.
I'm like, if we can get meet and greets announced like Monday, put them on sale like Wednesday, Thursday, then we can announce the special event on Friday. I'm like, we got to get this going because
Yeah.
then we're like, we know the schedule. We already have the schedule approved by some people. So I'm like, we're ready. Let's go.
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome too that you're planning on like announcing what it is, you know, and then going, this is when it will go on sale to give people like a minute to breathe and go, okay, let me figure this out and look at their schedules, you know. So that's great of you guys to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we like the way that we've planned the schedule, like I think it'll work really well for everybody. And we have like a map that'll show like where everybody's parking, and we have parking attendants that'll be like if you go to like a concert or like a football game that are directing you on where to park.
Okay.
And so like everything should flow well because realistically, if we're having like 6 meet and greets in the morning, that's like 120 people maximum if all of them sell out.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, everybody else should already be at the venue. So that way, like parking shouldn't be a disaster when those people are getting there at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting everything at like 10:30. So I'm like, that gives people time if the meet and greet ends at 10 because it's a 2-minute drive from the square to the venue. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you get in your cars, you get there, and then you're ready for your first item. And we started like the day, I think with items that are 30 minutes.
Okay.
So like even if you get like a little bit delayed, like you're still going to get there in time to do your photo and for your autograph. So,
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
So Alexis, how was the like planning of this con? How has it been like unique compared to the past couple of conventions?
So I feel like with this, because we kind of jumped straight like head first in with the offsite items with
Mm.
Stranger Things. When we did this with the Vampire Diaries, it was like one offsite. So like we did axe throwing with the Legacies boys, and then everybody else was like, well, why did they get to do axe throwing? I want to do something too. And so then the next time we like sprinkled in a few more offsite meet and greets, and then you had more people going, well, why do they all get to do it? Why is mine at the venue? So they all kind of, it was like word of mouth.
Yep.
And so they like were all excited about it. This time we're having to like kind of explain how those offsite meet and greets go, because some of these people have never done conventions, or
Yep.
they've only done conventions where there aren't meet and greets. And so they're like, so I'm sitting there with a group of fans answering questions, and we're like, yeah. And they're like, well, why can't it just be at the venue? And I'm like, well, one, there aren't like a ton of rooms here. Like this is an event space.
Yep.
So we don't have anywhere in there like to do 3 meet and greets at a time. And it will be so much more fun and like memorable for the fans and
Yeah.
like better for you. And so we're having to like explain how all these go. So that's definitely like the biggest difference there. And then like, I feel like the city of Jackson has been super involved because they really like, they're wanting to build their tourism.
Mm.
And so like since day one, they've all been so involved and like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And like, they put together their own, like, I don't know if you guys saw what we did for Chicago with the Know Before You Go guide. So it was really cool. And we're doing another one for this. So it had like information on like, which obviously we don't have a hotel block for Jackson, but it had like the hotel room block information, the restaurant on site, what time registration was, the link to the schedule. Like it had everything that you needed to know, and like explanations on like what photo ops are, what autographs are, what you can expect in your meet and greet.
Yeah.
So all of that was there. And like if people had questions, all they had to do was like look at that guide. It answered everything. And so we're doing that again for Stranger Things. And we're like, this is good to do going forward, because like while we have a lot of repeat attendees, we have new people each time.
Yeah.
And so like it helps them with answering their questions and feeling prepared going into the weekend. The city of Jackson did their own just on stuff going on like in Jackson. So when we post ours here within the next like week or so, we have one for Jackson too that has like, if you're wanting to visit like any of the local businesses downtown, it has like all the parking lots listed that you can park like, around the square. And it has like the different restaurants, the different businesses that are doing special things for the weekend, and like the times that those are going on. And I'm like, that's really cool, because like it took us a long time to kind of like get that buy-in from Covington.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say everybody in Covington, because we had people like from the start that were like super supportive of us, but it wasn't like everybody.
Yeah.
And then so like from the start with Jackson, how they've been like, I want to do this. Can we do this? Can we host a meet and greet? Like it's been really cool to see that sort of buy-in from them. So that would be like our biggest difference.
That's awesome.
So I feel like you have shared some of the elements of the schedule. Is there anything else that you are able to share that you haven't mentioned yet?
So the morning meet and greets are for sure starting at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Are they going to be an hour?
We're going to say 45 minutes, because what always happens if somebody always shows up 5 or 10 minutes late, and we can't like extend them, because then it sets the whole rest of the day off.
Yep.
So we're just going to say 45 minutes for the meet and greets, just so that way, like if somebody is like 10 minutes late getting to their meet and greet, people won't be bad.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes, and then the convention itself will start at like 10:15, 10:30, but we're opening doors at 9.
Okay.
So if people want to get there early, they want to shop the vendors, because we do have some really great vendors.
Nice.
They can come and shop, which we're going to be posting those. Our Stacy on our team has those finalized. She's going to be posting that and our food trucks. So
Cool.
that'll all be posted. So everybody will be able, like when they have breaks during the day, they can run out and grab something. Social Goat will be there. If you've never eaten there, their buffalo chicken mac and cheese is heavenly.
Love
Like that's my first stop. So like there's a few places in Covington, every time I'm there you have to eat.
that.
And buffalo chicken mac and cheese, if you ask anybody on our team, that is the number one food recommendation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So they'll have that at their food truck.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't like buffalo, so I just get the mac and cheese with the chicken on it and then ranch on it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So good.
That's good to know, because I think we're going to get lunch in Covington on Friday. So we needed to figure out like where we were going to go, but I guess maybe we should go to the grill. If
I would go to
Social
the grill,
Goat-
because you're going to be able to do Social Go to Con.
Yes,
Love
perfect.
that. Love
Oh,
that.
and one more thing I didn't even mention. So Matthew Modine hosting
Trivia.
Friday.
Cool.
Yeah. So we are for early registration, which we're going to get like all this out this week.
Yeah.
So early registration is from 11 to 4 on Friday at the venue.
Okay.
For that, we're not going to have parking attendants, only because like we've never had early registration where every single person comes at the same time. So we're like, it'll be fine if people are like kind of trickling in, getting their packets, but everybody has to register, which I think we talked about last time. And everything that you purchase will be in your packet. You have to show your ID to pick it up. So we'll do registration 11 to 4. He's going to be doing trivia from 2 to 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would recommend, like, if you're going to do trivia, getting there, I would say at least by 1,
Okay.
just so that way you can get your packet. You can kind of shop vendors, because the vendors will all be set up. And then you can go inside and hang out and wait for trivia. It'll be fun. He wanted to do something special. And we were like, I think trivia would be so fun. Like,
That would be
Yeah.
awesome, man.
That is really fun. I think we talked about, did we talk about trivia with Chris that one time?
Yeah.
And we were like, I feel like we need to like compete against Chris at trivia.
Right? It's on. Now, with meet and greets, Alexis, is it you're guaranteed a selfie and a question? Like, is that what's entailed with it?
So some of them are going to be set up a little bit differently. So for most of them, even though it's at an offsite location, you're still kind of set up like in a circle.
Okay.
Or they're set like kind of like classroom style where they're at the front and everybody's just seated there.
Mhm.
And it's like just a Q&A. So everybody can kind of ask questions. And then at the end, you get a selfie.
That's cool.
There are some people that like, they'll go to meet and greets and they don't ask questions. They just, they more just like to go and just like listen because like different stories end up like being talked about and things like that. And they like really just want that selfie. So
Yeah. And just the experience of hanging out. They might not be like outgoing enough to actually ask a question,
Yeah.
but they want to hang out. I get that for sure. I think we talked about that on our last episode, that there's more families, which is a good thing. Like that'll be cool, but it's definitely a different vibe than I think some of your other events. So
yeah, and that's why we like when we were looking at price points for this, for the meet and greets, especially because we know some people like they're gonna want like 4 tickets for like Raphael's meet and greet or 4 tickets like for somebody else's. So we were like, okay, we'll try to keep this as low as possible just in case families do want to buy tickets. And
yeah, that was nice.
That was,
yeah. That was a good consideration. I don't know if I'll leave this in, but I'm like glad that you said the thing about, not that I plan on being late to any meet and greets I get, but like I've literally had nightmares about it. I'm like, what if we can't find parking and then I miss
We'll
the meet
find
and
parking.
greets?
yeah, like leave the car in the middle of the road and jump out and go.
Yeah. But we're super excited. Were there any meet and greets that are not offsite?
Yes, there's one that's not offsite,
Okay.
possibly 2, but there still is like an activity with the one. So it'll be during the day, but it's a 30-minute meet and greet,
Okay.
and we're doing it to where nothing fully overlaps. So like, say this meet and greet is from 3 to 3:30. Photo ops for that block will be 2:45 to 3:15 or 3:15 to 3:45, and then the autos it's the same thing. So that way like nothing fully overlaps. They can go do their photo, go to the meet and greet, or they can do the meet and greet and then get to the photo. So
Okay.
Fantastic.
but it'll make sense once we post the schedule.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's helpful because I've like looked at your schedules for other events. So I like kind of like have a picture in my mind of what they look like, which I think is helpful. Because definitely a lot of the like group questions and everything like that, once you see the schedule, make a lot more sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're excited for panels too. Like they're gonna be good, I think.
If people have questions about the con, where are some official channels that they can find information and ask questions?
The best way is to email the help@epiccons.com
Okay.
because obviously the team is the only one that has access to that. So the answer you get is going to be accurate, which we do have like the official Epic Cons multi-fandom group,
Okay.
and we're all admins in there. But I know sometimes people answer questions and they're not doing anything like with ill intent, but sometimes the answers aren't like officially accurate.
Yeah.
So it's always best if you have a question to email us, just so that way you can get that answer directly from us.
Cool. Do you think you'll do one of the Q&As on Instagram before the event for this one too?
Yeah, so Imani normally does that because I always mess up. Like, I can never, I'm not good at Instagram. Like, I can do the Facebook groups all day. But she'll do one on Instagram. I'll do probably like a Facebook Live, maybe this week or early the following week, just to kind of like answer questions. And like once we get to the venue and are setting up, like she can kind of do like a walkthrough, which it's one big, huge empty room. Like it's huge. So you can't get lost in there. It's not like there's like different rooms or things like that. Like when you walk in, you'll see, oh, okay, photos are here, autos are here. There's chairs, there's panels, like, and then the vendors and the food trucks are right outside the front door. So
Cool.
yeah.
So will you be able to like hear panels that are happening when you're in line for stuff?
Yeah. So you
Cool.
should still be able to hear.
Yeah, I'm excited for that because I've bought way too much. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to see any of the panels, but that will be kind of cool that we'll still be able to be around it and not like in a completely different room.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I'm like, I still want to buy more.
YOLO.
As we did the schedule, we're able to like add more stuff. We're gonna do a Charlie and Noah duo, and like we can add the boys, Caleb, Gaten, and Noah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And like the Grace and Mason op and
Okay.
and Alec, like they really wanted to do a duo. So like some of those we were able to add, and like we could add more like autos for Joe and Gaten.
Yeah. My number one thing that I need to get that I don't have is a Gaten autograph because I'm like, the minute those go on sale, I'm going to like grab one.
We decided we're going to do a trio too with Jamie, Matthew, and Millie. And I'm like, that's going to be so cool.
That's going to be really cool. Yeah.
So I was like really happy. That trio op, like I think people are going to be so excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's never happened. So I'm like, that's a really cool, like rare photo to get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. And then the Andre and Alec. Yeah, I don't have anything for either of them. So getting a duo with them would be pretty cool. Yeah. And then the only person I don't have anything for other than that is
Amy
Vicky. Yeah. But I she seems really sweet. So I like kind of want to meet her too. So yeah.
I think she's going to be great. We got her video and she said in the video, like her agent texted it to me and she said, it's my first ever convention. And I texted him back. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know it was her first convention. And he's like, yeah, that's why she's so excited.
That's awesome.
Like, oh.
That's really sweet. I didn't realize that either.
I feel like, and with an E, like when we announced her, the comments on her post about like, oh my God, she's from Anne with an E. Like people were so excited. I'm like, I'm surprised she hasn't been to a con before.
Yeah, that surprises me for sure. Yeah, that's exciting. Is it anybody else's first convention or is she the only one?
So Maya did Chicago.
So it's her second. Yeah.
I don't think it's anybody else's first con. I know like Natalia doesn't do them very often. Charlie doesn't do them super often.
Joe, obviously.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think like a lot of them, it's only like we have a few that they do them a lot, like Gaten and Noah. They do cons a lot. I feel like a lot of them, it's like their second or third. So,
yeah, super cool.
Which the lineup is fire, by the way.
Oh, like, I meant to say that at the beginning.
Oh my God. We went to like a little small mass convention yesterday and I was at the Authentic autograph station or whatever. And I was asking him, I was like, are you going to be there? And he's like, no, I'm going to be at New York Comic Con. He's like, man, I wish. He goes, I have never seen a lineup like this before. And I'm like, I don't travel. So you know it's good that I'm going to it. Like, it's amazing. But was there anybody that like you guys tried to get and unfortunately either their schedule or just things didn't line up? Was that something that was common, or for the most part were you like, no, we kind of like were able to check off all the boxes?
There were two people that we really, really, really wish we could have made it work for, but due to scheduling, like they couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I feel like every single announcement, everybody was like, Joseph Quinn. And it's like, guys, we hear you. Like,
he's a Marvel boy now.
I know. But I mean, scheduling wise, like, I so wish it could have happened. And I know, like, I saw where we were tagged in comments that he canceled, like, one of his other cons. And I'm like, there's probably a reason.
There's a reason, man. Yeah.
So it's like, he's a busy boy. Like, he's so busy and good for him. It sucks for us because we would have loved to have had him at the event. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully sometime. Hopefully we'll get him sometime.
One day in the future.
Yeah. Well, and that's the question. Like, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I know people are wondering, and I know we did talk about this in our last episode because you said if everything goes well, you would love to be able to do it again. But are you kind of thinking about that in the future, or are you just like, let's get through this one and then we'll make plans if it goes well?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we really want to get through this because like even though planning's gone like super well for it, until we're like there and make sure like everything goes okay. And I mean, it's one of those things like the cast that have done cons, they've done like big cons like Fan Expo and like things that are completely different than us. And so we don't want to be like, yeah, let's do another one, and then them get there and them not like our model. So we want to make sure from like both sides, everybody likes it, and then kind of go from there.
Makes sense. Will the Joe and Maya ice cream social, will it be offsite, I'm assuming? Okay. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And so we'll do it like, so we'll have the meet and greets from like 6 to 7.
Okay.
And then the ice cream social will start at 7:15. So that way like, people can get their meet and greets, get checked in for the ice cream social, and then we'll have Joe and Maya come.
Nice.
So, because everything's like just right there in the square. Like it takes like 2 minutes to walk from place to place. So I'm like, nobody's going to be like having to get in a car and like race somewhere. Like they're just going to be right.
Exactly.
How far away is the Carmichael house?
So like if you are in the square, it's like 2 blocks.
Okay.
So it's not.
No,
like,
that's
we
like
walked it.
walkable.
When I had
also.
my kids there earlier this year, we walked from the square to the Carmichael house.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Because I know some people might be going to the events there after the convention on Friday or Saturday and Sunday. So, oh my goodness. Well, I feel like we're going to think of a million questions that we could have asked you, like, while we have you, but we appreciate you
Always
coming back on the show, and it was fun to chat again. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This has been so great, and excited to meet you in person in a few weeks.
Oh my gosh, she is the sweetest. Yeah, so we are so grateful to have gotten the chance to talk to Alexis, and she gave us some great information about the con. I think she made us feel a little bit less anxious about getting our meet and greets, meet and greet tickets, and getting to the meet and greets on time and all of those things. So that was great. And it's just so cool to hear about the behind the scenes of everything with that.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are super excited to meet Alexis and all of the rest of the EpicCon staff in person.
Which we really want to thank them too for putting in all this hard work, for making this convention happen, because this is truly, like, as somebody who's attended conventions for the last like 20 years, like this is unlike anything I've ever seen or heard of before. So just thank you guys so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. We're so excited to have this opportunity. We're excited to share this opportunity with our listeners as we share our experience. So definitely follow us on social media, even if you aren't going to the convention, because we'll definitely be posting while we're there and kind of bringing you along for the ride. So it's going to be super fun. We usually have a couple other segments on our podcast. So we usually talk about any filming updates that have happened, any new merch that has come out, but we're going to skip that for today. There haven't really been any official filming updates that we've seen this week. We talked about all of the cool ColourPop makeup and that line that came out a little bit on last week's episode.
Yep.
So I did order a few of the things from that line.
Oh, girl.
So I'm super excited. Maybe I'll wear my new lip gloss like in the photo ops.
I love that.
And we also sometimes do a little secret segment, if you know, you know. So we're not going to do that today, but for any listeners of that segment, we are probably going to skip it for the next few episodes, just because we're doing a lot of EpicCons, Georgia content. But we promise that sometime during October, we will do a longer bonus episode where we give you some of our reading updates. So look for that. And we have just so much fun stuff coming up this month. It's going to be a blast. We're talking to so many fun people, so many people associated with the event that we're going to be going to. So I'm excited to just connect with people before getting to Georgia and actually meeting them in person. So
absolutely.
Yeah. stay tuned. And again, follow along on social media at Skull Rock Broadcast, pretty much everywhere, but we are most active on Instagram. And I'm Steady Stories on Instagram. Stacy is Stay Still Reviews. And we will talk to you soon.
Over and out.
Over and out. Thank you.